Christian's eyes lingered on his wife, Vicky, as she stood across the room, laughing with her cousins. Her wavy brown hair framed her face softly, her features lit by the sparkle in her eyes. The elegant navy dress she wore only highlighted her beauty, and for a fleeting moment, he felt a pang of grief. Soon he thought he might never see her like this again, so comfortably woven into the fabric of his family. The banquet hall shimmered in white and gold, arranged in honor of his grandparents' golden anniversary. Tables were lined with roses and lilies, and above the stage hung a banner that read 50 Years of Love. The air carried a blend of flowers and warm food, filling the room with a festive sweetness. Christian tugged at the tie of his gray suit, uneasy not only in the formal clothes but in his own skin. Hours earlier he and Vicky had fought again. The spark was trivial, a bill she had forgotten to pay, but the quarrel had escalated quickly. His words still rang in his head. "You never care about anything." Her reply had come sharp and final before she slammed the bedroom door. "And all you ever do is complain." Lately this was their pattern. One clash after another, their first year of marriage already burdened with tension. The ease and harmony of their long courtship had dissolved, leaving them at odds more often than at peace. What once had been little annoyances now felt like walls between them, and every conversation seemed harder than the last. Christian ran his hand through his dark hair and sighed. At 32, he wondered how things had unraveled so quickly. He could still recall the night they met, a friend's party a decade ago. Her sweet manner and bright laugh had hooked him instantly. Their love had grown so naturally that people often called them the perfect couple. But now nothing felt perfect. Exhaustion pressed on him. As an engineer, he was used to solving problems, but this marriage, was a puzzle he couldn't untangle. Divorce, once unthinkable, circled his mind with unsettling frequency. That very morning, while dressing for the celebration, he had decided this would be their last family gathering together. After the weekend, he would tell Vicky he wanted a separation. At least, he thought grimly, their lack of children would spare them a deeper complication. "Let's just act like everything is fine, at least today," Vicky had said in the car, her voice trembling. "We can't spoil your grandparents' night." Christian had nodded, though his heart felt heavy. Watching her now, smiling stiffly at relatives, he could see the tension behind her facade. She was hurting too, and he didn't know how to reach her anymore. "Your wife looks stunning tonight," his cousin Lydia said, approaching with a champagne glass. Christian forced a smile. "Yes, she does. You two make such a lovely pair. I still remember your wedding. It was beautiful," Lydia went on, unaware of the weight her words carried. The memory stabbed at him. Sunlight on the church steps, Vicky radiant in white, both of them vowing forever in front of everyone they loved. How had they traveled from that joy to this edge of collapse? Throughout the evening, relatives approached with similar compliments. How gorgeous Vicky looked, how strong they seemed as a couple. Each word cut a little deeper, reminding him of what he was about to lose. From across the room, he watched her cradle nieces on her lap, laugh at an uncle's old stories, and gently help his grandmother at the buffet. She was adored by all, woven into his family long before the marriage. A knot rose in his throat. Despite everything, he still loved her. He loved her tenderness, her loyalty to family, her adventurous streak that always nudged him out of his shell. Why couldn't they find their way back? The evening's centerpiece began. The golden couple themselves, Anthony and Helena, seated proudly on the decorated stage. The master of ceremonies announced the arrival of the pastor who had married them 50 years earlier. A frail-looking man with white hair and wire-rimmed glasses made his way forward, his steps careful but steady. Christian noted the way his grandparents' eyes lit with recognition and fondness. "Good evening, everyone," the pastor said, his voice stronger than expected. What a privilege to return after half a century. To celebrate not just 50 years of marriage, but 50 years of devotion, growth, and love that endures. The room hushed, all eyes fixed on him. Christian felt Vicky step beside him, close but not touching. "Couples often ask me the secret to a lasting union," the pastor continued. "They hope for an easy answer, a magic trick. But there is none. What keeps a marriage alive isn't a secret, it's a choice made daily." The words seemed to strike directly at Christian, a tremor running through him. Romantic love, the kind that sweeps us away in the beginning, is wonderful, the pastor went on. But it is not enough to last decades. What holds two people together, as it has for Anthony and Helena, is what I call decision love. He paused, scanning the audience. For an instant, Christian swore the man's gaze landed on him. Decision love, the pastor said firmly, is the act of choosing your partner every single day, especially on the days when it feels the hardest. It's choosing the person standing beside you again and again, the pastor said gently. It's saying, I pick you today, and I'll pick you tomorrow too. Even when they leave the towel on the bed. Even when the bills slip their mind. Even when you don't see eye to eye. Christian's chest tightened. How could this stranger describe his marriage so perfectly? Too many couples walk away at the first real storm, the pastor went on. They think the love has died. But love doesn't disappear. It changes, it matures. That's the moment when commitment matters most, when you must hold on to the vow you once made. Beside him, Vicky exhaled softly. Christian didn't dare look at her, afraid of what emotions her eyes might reveal. Marriage is like a garden, the pastor continued. You can't just plant once and expect it to thrive forever. You must water it, trim away what doesn't serve it, clear out the weeds. Some days it feels exhausting. But when the flowers bloom, the effort proves worthwhile. Christian thought of the times he had neglected Vicky. The tender gestures left undone, the unspoken words of love, the evenings sacrificed to work and distractions. Anthony and Helena stand here today not because their 50 years were flawless, the pastor said, smiling warmly at the honored couple. They are here because in joy and in sorrow, they kept choosing each other. Real love isn't passive, it is deliberate action. His eyes gleamed with the wisdom of long experience. So if you're sitting here tonight, burdened by struggles in your marriage, I urge you, don't give up. Remember your promise. Love even when it's hard. Nurture your garden even when it feels barren. For it is in hardship that love grows its deepest roots. The hall was hushed, his words sinking deep. For Christian, it felt as though a fog had lifted. He turned and looked at Vicky, not the woman he had been fighting with, but the woman he had chosen long ago, his partner, his love. The rest of the ceremony blurred by. His heart pounded as he replayed the message in his mind. When the guests began to leave, he touched Vicky's arm lightly. Can we step outside? He asked, his voice unsteady. She nodded, eyes reflecting both nervousness and fragile hope. They slipped into the garden. Cool night air wrapped around them as stars glimmered above. For a while neither spoke. At last Christian drew a breath. Vicky, I'm sorry, he said, his voice breaking. I let things spiral. I failed you. Her eyes widened, surprised. Chris, it wasn't just you. I stopped trying too. I let us drift apart. I almost walked away, he confessed, tears slipping down his cheeks. I thought there was no fixing us. I felt the same, Vicky admitted, her voice trembling. But when that pastor spoke, it felt like he was talking straight to us. Christian clasped her hands, holding on to her warmth. I choose you, Vicky. Not just tonight, every day. I don't want to quit on us. I want to fight for us. Her tears broke into a shaky smile. I choose you too, Chris. Always. They embraced beneath the stars, the pastor's message echoing in their hearts. They knew the road would be hard, full of conversations, forgiveness, and rebuilding. But they also understood now that love was a decision, not just a feeling. That night, back home, they spoke more honestly than they had in months. They shared their fears, their disappointments, their hopes. They promised to put in the effort, to seek help if needed, to stop letting little issues pile into mountains. In the weeks that followed, they began making changes. They carved out a weekly night just to talk and reconnect. They revived old gestures, hidden notes, surprise breakfasts, small acts of affection. It wasn't easy. Old habits flared, arguments resurfaced. But whenever the temptation to give up appeared, they remembered the pastor's words, and the promise they had renewed under the stars. Slowly, their love deepened into something sturdier than before. It was no longer the effortless romance of youth, but a stronger, steadier bond forged by daily choice. Like the garden metaphor, their marriage began to bloom again. Flowers of trust, affection, and resilience. Years later, at their own silver anniversary, Christian and Vicky stood side by side, eyes glistening with gratitude. They remembered that pivotal night, the night they had almost ended everything, and instead chose to begin again. That day, as they renewed their vows, they silently thanked the pastor whose words had changed their course. More than promises, they had learned the power of choosing each other, over and over, for a lifetime.